Hi there, I'm Kathleen Tometz from Doodle Art and Design, and I'm going to show you how to make a mermaid painting collage using bleeding tissue paper. It is a really fun supply, I guess you'd call it. It changes, it's a process-driven thing. So I'm just going to show you how to do all this. And what you need is a water bottle. I use a mermaid stencil as my template. It's easy, it's fun, it comes out artsy. You just want to make sure that it's going to fit on your canvas. So I'll show you what we're going to do with the stencil, but the first thing we're going to do is prepare our canvas, the white canvas, with the bleeding tissue paper. So the first thing you want to do is spray it. Get it wet, but you don't want it to be dripping, soaking wet. So I'm just going to rub this, and I am going to then take my bleeding tissue paper, which you can get on Amazon. It's very inexpensive and you get a lot of bang for your buck with this. So I'm just going to lay the tissue paper all around my canvas. And I have chosen to do a sort of a pinky peachy theme, if you want to call it that. You don't need to do that. You can use all the colors of the rainbow, which come in your pack of tissue paper. I just decided to do this because I thought it would be fun. So we're going to just place all this tissue haphazardly. It'll give it sort of a tie-dye look. Okay, so I'm just going to press it on. Scatter it around, and yeah, just press it all around until you're done. And I'm going, don't even worry about the white spots. You may see some white spots. So it's laid on here, and then I'm going to spray it again. This activates the tissue paper. Okay, and I put this underneath the paper towel so that it doesn't make a big mess. So then I'm going to put this aside over here, and I'm going to grab my stencil. I've already started this so that you can see the process and you don't have to spend too much time with me watching this video. So what you do is take the stencil, put it over a piece of, this is watercolor paper. I would recommend you use it. A watercolor will be a nicer effect. Don't use printer paper from your computer. It's just not going to be good. And then you would grab your watercolor pencils, another process thing. These are really cool. You just color right in using the stencil as your guide. Now remember, we're not trying to make like a really, really accurate portrait. We're trying to make something that is going to be painterly and artistic. So I'm going to keep doing this. So we've got her all colored in for the most part. Okay, now you don't need your stencil after this. This isn't quite finished, but I have this one. So this is all colored in and partially painted. So paint by painting, I mean you just take water and a paintbrush and just paint, and it turns it into a watercolor painting. This is real, you gotta keep it flat so you don't have the drips. This is a really nice way to get the watercolor effect, because watercolors are not easy to use. They go all over the place and you can't control them. This you can't really control, but you can at least get, you know, you can draw it and then paint it. So then you have your painted mermaid. Okay. Now, once it's painted, you want to cut out. So I've already cut this out. Here is my mermaid. Now she needs a little bit of embellishment. So I'm going to take a bucket like this, and in it I've got some glue and some glittery, it's almost like sequins. I am not a huge fan of glitter. It's bad for the environment. I have this around. The bigger pieces I feel like you can control more, but I always do any glitter in a bucket so I can, you know, it's not going all over the place. So you want to take your mermaid, and then you just want to, I'm using my finger, just putting glue on her fin. I only want her fin to be sparkly, obviously, because she is a mermaid. So I'm getting her whole fin nice and glued. You really want to make sure you put the glue on pretty well, or as well as you can, because if you have a spot that doesn't have glue on it, this sequins, obviously, or glitter will not stick. But you want to make sure you don't get it on her body or her tail. So I am going to then, let's just show you, pour the glitter on like this. I'm going to lay her flat in a minute so that you can, so I can get it on, and then I'll show you, because this sticks quite well. You don't need to let it sit for too long. So we're going to get her all glittered up. Give her a little shake. And then look. Pretty nice, huh? So once she's glittered, we're going to be ready to put her on the canvas. But the first thing we want to do, obviously, is bring our canvas back over and remove the tissue paper. So if you do this on like a watercolor paper, it will adhere better. This is still going to look good, but it's not giving you quite the effect of bleeding tissue on paper. You can try sanding your canvas to get it a little bit rough before you put this on. But you can also take the paper and sort of press down. Like use this like a little sponge. Hold on 1 second. I'm going to grab my dry canvas from earlier. Here's the dry. When it's dry, that's what it'll look like. Pretty cool. So then you want to take your mermaid. It's all glittered up. And you can use regular glue, or you can use hot glue. I'm going to use hot glue just for the sake of being quick. And I am going to glue her on. Because the watercolor paper, believe it, I am out of glue sticks. I just noticed in the middle of my video, so I'm pushing my glue stick in this pencil, and I'm going to mix a little bit of regular glue in with her so that she holds. Just being careful I don't burn myself. Okay, so then she's going right on here. And it's okay if some of her, like her fin pops off a little bit, because it just makes it look a little more 3D. Okay, and then for hair, I like to take some yarn, and I'm doing this colorful yarn, and what I do is cut it like so in half. It's kind of sort of scraggly, but that looks pretty cool. And then I tie, I do a slip knot and tie it in the middle so that it stays. It's almost like a part. So then what you want to do is take your glue. I'm going to use regular glue because in the long run, regular glue holds way better than hot glue. So I'm going to put her hair on. So you can see she's got her long flowing hair. And then all mermaids need a top. So I'm going to use a shell top with my glue gun that is on the fritz. Well, that's running out, not on the fritz, but because anything like 3D like this is not going to hold that well without hot glue. So I'm going to put it in the shell and it'll sort of fall down onto, while it's still hot, into the So the sticking the pencil in the glue gun is one of my little hacks for when you're just trying to get. And then I want to make this a little bit decorative, so I'm going to put a little pearl. Oops. Right in here. In her bikini top. And then I'm going to also put a shell in her hair, especially to cover that part that's sort of holding the hair. Could also put a little pearl there. So the arm popping out actually helps to hold let me just do this, it holds her hair in place. I mean, I think it's always pretty to put a little shell in her hand. So I'm going to do that. So we've got her. And then the last thing I like to do is put some pearls on the bottom of the ocean floor. And this you can do with just regular glue. Just put a little dot. It'll take a little bit longer to dry, but then it will hold better. So I put some just different spots, and I have pearls in different peachy colors to stay with my theme. And I'll just place the pearls on. Just like so. And you have a finished, well, almost finished, except for the pearls falling off, collage painting. I'm going to put those pearls back on now that the video is finished. So my name is Kathleen Tometz from Doodle Art and Design, and I hope you enjoyed doing this project with me.